the day. So good time to also get in some technical perspective on the market to give us a sense of what is happening or what the charts are suggesting. So Kunal Bothra of LKP Securities now joins us for a quick check on the market technicals. Thanks a lot for joining in, Kunal. Good afternoon. This sudden dip that we've witnessed in the markets, and in fact the Nifty as we speak is just below that 8,000 mark, 7,997 as we speak. Was that warranted, or was that forecast on the could that be predicted on the charts?
To very much extent, yes, Mangalam. I think I think the markets, the Indian markets, or the sentiment for the Indian markets for the last 2 or 3 days is more or less buoyed by the reactions of the global markets. I think overnight, if you see some excellent exuberance from the US markets, you expect a gap up opening, and if the the mood gets sour by the European markets, you expect some sort of correction. So it's more or less a a factored in kind of a move, dependent on the in the openings of the global markets. But I think the markets is telling you, the index is telling you something else as well. This was the first attempt in the last 4 trading sessions from Monday towards that gap of in the Monday gap, the gap down rather. 82.25 and 8,060, that 160 points odd gap. So this was the first attempt where we tried to inch back, trying to close that gap, but it's a failed attempt as of now. So assuming if the market closes below 8,050 on spot levels today, it gives you a very clear indication that there is a huge amount of selling pressure which can actually come into the indexes once again. So I think from a trader perspective, you have to be very cautious on the kind of stocks which you select on the long spaces or on the long side, and especially on the index space. I think till the time you don't cross 8200, I expect a lot amount of weakness to come across in the index.
And the bottom, where would you find some support on the Nifty then?
I think I think the previous support of 7660 on Nifty spot, or more or less 20-30 points from thereabouts, would be the broader aspect of support. Remember that one important reading for the Nifty in terms of technicals, Mangalam, was the RSI. It managed to drop almost at the oversold region. Generally we expect a bounce on the oversold, but the trend when the RSI enters into the oversold territory gets decided for the next couple of weeks. So I sense that probably it's just a temporary bounce, and you may probably try and retest the previous support. So more or less 7650 would be the broader term support for Nifty.
Okay, let's come to your individual recommendations. The first one is a buy call on Kaveri Seeds.
Yes, Reema, it's more or less an extension of what I gave a couple of days back on your channel, initiating the call at 455 odd. I expected a target of 520. The stock almost hit that 513 range today. Now I'm extending the target to 540 on Kaveri Seeds, and anyone who's probably holding the stop, can trail the stoppers to 485. It's more or less a very similar pattern. The stock has already, corrected very sharply, and you're looking at a bounce. I expect the bounce to probably expect for a, probably for a continue for a couple of percentage points more. 540 is where I'm looking at a fresh target on Kaveri Seeds. Stop loss 485.
All right, another one of your recommendation, Kunal, is an unusual one, a buy on Godfrey Phillips, which has been by and large flat this year, down about 3%, quite sluggish. Any particular reason for choosing that one?
Absolutely, Mangalam. More or less, when I look at these lesser known names, you have to look at the monthly charts or the broader charts to really gauge the direction of these stocks. Now, the most interesting part about Godfrey Phillips is the movement of the RSI. I think if you look at the monthly charts for the first time in the last almost 1.5 odd years, you've seen the RSI come back about the 40 levels. Generally, when you see the monthly RSI crossing those 40 levels, you expect on the monthly charts the momentum to be carried forward. The stock is trading at around 573, 575. I expect that over the next couple of months, since this is more or less a monthly chart, I expect that over the next couple of months you could see the stock heading towards level of 650, which is the first set of resistance. And given the fact that the RSI has bottomed from 30 and is now rising towards 40 and above, I expect the momentum to try and increase in the stock gradually. Target of 650 is what I'm indicating, keeping a stop loss of 530 on it.
Okay, and finally, why do you like DCB Bank?
Well, this is interesting, Reema, because I think, for more or less entire 2014 and, most part of 2015, this was one of the few stocks, which showed very strong momentum, even though Bank Nifty for major parts of 2014-15 remained more or less sideways. Couple of months back, you had, a good selling pressure in DCB, and now if you look at the short-term charts, from 150, the stock corrected to 110, 115 couple of days back. So it's completed that, phase of correction, and now it's inching back to forming a good pattern or continuation support. So my expectation is that over the next couple of weeks, I expect the stock to gradually head towards 138, 140, which is my target. Stop loss could be kept at 124 on closing basis on this.
All right, Kunal, any disclosures?
No personal holdings of the stocks mentioned, Mangalam. It is possible that I may have recommended the same stocks to a client at LKP as well.
Okay, thanks a lot for joining, stopping by and giving us all those technical perspective. Have a great